You and your soulmate walked away from each other. One of you tried to get back together, the other one kept walking away. What you went through today sucked, and it was beautiful. You lost some connections, you gained some others. Someone cried and hugged you, and you cried and hugged yourself. Message sent, message returned, but not by the person you wanted to return it. You wasted all this time crying, suffering, grieving, aging yourself for nothing. You waited and you waited and you waited and you waited. You know what you didn't know that time? You bettered yourself. You found out who you were and who you are and who you weren't. You should be proud of yourself. I know it sucks what he did and how he did it. It sucks what you did and how you did it. I don't want to tell you that he'll be back, but maybe in some other life. Maybe in the future. I don't think it matters anymore though. I think you gotta take care of yourself. You've let yourself age for too long because of what this past energy was. Remember how it all began. Hold on, I'm gonna fix that speaker. You need to buy yourself new speakers for your computer, if you haven't already. This is literally what the song is singing. They burned their bridges as they went. The heretics beautified. And you taught the harlot's child to smile. The prince finds his way eventually. The truth of who you are has to remain in the truth of who you are. So if you love somebody, love them. Don't hold hate in your heart to them because it ages you. He was good to you and you were good to him. Everything that happened happened for a reason. And when he opened up at last, you found the cul-de-sac, deep and black, covered in smoke and ash. Are you ready to waste more of your life crying over people who don't give a fuck about you? Hmm? It's like when you finally go and be happy for yourself, that's when he shows up and he's like, oh, there you are. It ain't worth it, baby. It ain't worth it. Who he was a great guy. Who he became was a monster. A monster that didn't heal or change. Not yet. He's surrounded by what he did to you. He can't find his happiness without you. You know that. I wish he would. But he wished for you. And he left you. Cheated on you and then disappeared with everything you had. 3+ years of psychic trauma from him because he refused to grow up. The crooked raft, drunken souls aboard, visions of their saints in yellow. They all follow deep in trance in their own catatonic dance. No future, damn the past. And they think they're safe at last. They're not. Not with someone like you out of the picture. Not with your beauty changed and distorted into something you're not because of their pain. Not with you limiting the way you speak and the way you sound and the way you look. Because of trauma ingrained in your nervous system. It ain't right. Those lines on your face, they tell a story that was done to you. They show how kind you were and how much you grieved because of what was done to you. That's not your face. Marionette lines? Are you kidding? You're ageless. That smile that's been stuck on your face. It's not a smile, my love. It's grief. And you know it. Yeah. You're still in there. You know that. That's how the unicorn finds you. Because of your pure heart. That's why King Haggard spent all that time looking for the unicorns. That's why he has been spending all this time holding on to that grief and pain. When what he could have had is a true love story. And it's not your fault that he chose something other than you. It's not his fault either. Just choices that were made. And there's nothing you can do about it. And if you try, it just shows how... It shows the duality of your soul. The kindness of what you want, how much you'd fight for it. How much you'd wait and manifest, and how much you would grieve and cry oceans into the world. Just to show how much you love someone. But at what point do you realize and accept that the more you suffer, the more you allow that those oceans inside you to churn with no creation, you'll destroy yourself, like you have been. This is not the path for you. His loss put you on this path, and this path has been to put you back on your path. And your path isn't to being old crone. You're not to being old anything. You're ageless, you're eternal, you're immortal, you're infinity and eternity. If our bodies are made of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and what we consume, then you are true beauty, true love, and true light. Anything else is a lie. Wrinkles, aging, decay, entropy, it's all a lie. There's no decay, there's no entropy. It's just a loss of who we are in the present moment. Because we hold on to things that weren't for us. We hold on to swords by the blade, to spears by the wooden handle. We cut potatoes the wrong way and hurt ourselves. We let the love of our lives run away from us. For what? The illusion of self-righteous justice. It's pathetic. It's like having a diamond and discarding it because you want to find pebbles to break into diamonds. You might have seen a diamond in him, but it was your own light reflected off of him. If he was exactly who you thought he was, if they were who you thought they were, wouldn't you be in a different place right now? You would, wouldn't you? But you're not. You're where you're at. And where you're at is because of where you aren't at. Because you're waiting for someone to stop you before you go do what you know you need to do. Because what you do will take you on a path away from who you want to be with. And who you thought you are. And the people you thought were your family. The face you thought you'd have. the life, the money. It was all an illusion. All surrounding you from every sense that you have and those that you didn't have. From the womb that you did or didn't have, from the testicles that you did or didn't have, from the breast, the sensory organs, the inner third eye, the heart's eye, the 13th or the 20th chakras, it doesn't matter. You didn't know what you didn't know. You didn't know what you are. And you fell in love with something that didn't know what it was either. And you loved each other through a chaotic mess of true love, figuring out that it's true love. But in this story, in this fairy tale, it doesn't find out in this lifetime. Maybe it will. You did. So there's someone out there like you. Might just not be the people or the person you thought it was before. And that's okay. It doesn't make them any less important in your life than they were. Those good memories don't suddenly become bad memories. They were good experiences. The Chariot, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Lord. Nine of Swords, the top of that deck, and Fool at the bottom of the deck. So looking right at you, and knowing what today has been, knowing you, you are headed directly for the love of your life, whether you realize it or not. You can't be him anymore. That's his job. It's not your job anymore to be him. It's your job to be her. Because she has stuff to do. And the stuff that you had with him, where you had to be him and her for him, but he wasn't even being himself for you, that has to stop. You have stuff to do. And it's far more important than waiting for a boy to realize he's a man and he's ruining his own life with his decisions. You can't be man enough for him, and you can't be woman enough for him. You cannot be the mother or the father to him. He needs to raise himself, and it's not your job to do it for him. Your job is to move forward and carry this with love with you, because it's sacred. And eventually he does show up. It's in these cards. Eventually he shows up with an apology, but it will mean nothing to you. You will have your husband, and it could be him. It could be him. The grace of God could spark an insight within him and his mother to heal their connections so that, he realizes what he wants, and he's already had it with you. But until then, you have 8 to 12 years. Look at it in 8 to 12 year increments. Not that he's going to be back in 8 to 12 years. He could be back in 8 to 12 minutes. Who knows? But look at it in your life 12 years from now. You'll be 52. You'll have your own home, your own land, massive amounts of land from what I'm seeing here. Acres and acres of land near the ocean. Forests and mountains everywhere. It's beautiful. You have your own family, your grandchildren, your current family is like leveled up. Don't go down the timeline where you stay in grief over what happened. You don't want to be the old man with white hair stressing out. You don't want to be the old woman with white hair and no teeth. You want to be the empress to that emperor, the lady to the lord. With or without them. Because when it all comes down to the very last moment of anybody's life, they will always choose themselves and their God. Never you. Never you. Even if you would choose them, they wouldn't choose you. So let that be a testament to your heart, not theirs. Let that be a lesson to you too. No matter how much you love someone, no matter how much happiness they bring you or how much hatred, they will never love you the way you love you. They're incapable of it. They didn't have the same programming that you did to learn how to love. We've been blessed. And they have in different ways because you don't have the programming they had. You need each other. Such a splendid match. And don't be so hard on the way you look. Molly Grew cried when she saw the unicorn, and all she ever wanted was to see the unicorn. And she cried because she felt ugly. So don't feel ugly, and you won't be ugly. Because you're a beautiful, beautiful person. The way you feel things, the way you see things is beautiful. There's no reason for you to think you're ugly. I don't care how many excuses you have. I'm looking right at you, through you, into infinity. There isn't an ugly version of you anymore. And I'm sitting here looking at you and I can tell your heart's breaking. I can see you seconds of crying. Like half of you is melting away and the other half of you is keeping the other half up. So, Page of Coins again. And the 7 of Coins. You didn't fail. You didn't fail. You just had to learn to appreciate this love without thinking that its pain is meant to hurt you. Because the pain is actually the signal for love. The pain is a reminder that love existed. 6 of Wands and 10 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. You know, in this scene, Molly Grew is helping Prince Lear remember what he really wants and how to do it the right way. Here we're seeing movement forward towards family, action taken, 4 of Wands towards family, success over here, and then Molly Grew handing the pentacle after she's had an experience with the unicorn, and a future version of something realizes exactly what makes them happy and then goes back to the past to send a message to the past version of self to not let the other person go. So it's up to you now, because in some version of reality, things can work out better than you can expect. But first comes the first pentacle, which grows into the 10 of Pentacles, which is right over here. Everything's going to be fine. I know you feel a lot right now and that it feels really heavy and sad and all that. And it's okay. You did really good today releasing everything. You unpacked boxes, metaphorically and physically. You reminded yourself of the sacredness of certain items instead of throwing them away, and you kept them. And you made something new out of them. That's good. And you've been looking at yourself in the mirror without thinking you're ugly. Because now you're starting to see that the things you thought were ugly on you are things that you weren't paying attention to manifest properly. Because you were too busy crying. You look at yourself to see how you're speaking, how you sound, what you look like, to see your own eyes. Because the last time you really looked at yourself, what did you see? A grieving old woman. And then a grieving old man. And then a lost boy, and then a lost girl. Now what do you see? Pure untapped potential. And what was keeping you from that potential? The illusion of a life that you could have had. That was never meant for you in the way that you wanted it back then. It's meant for you in a different way. You know, when you were together with him, you had a vision about how in the future, he was going to be someone really, exactly who you knew he was going to be, in a good way. That the version of him you knew was the young tadpole to the frog he would be later, so to speak. This process of you and that person separating energetically and whatever else is the process that turns the tadpole into the frog. And since you know about time and space, it doesn't mean that it could happen in this lifetime, but it could mean it already happened and he's on his way. It's fluid. So there's no loss. There's no separation. There's no ghosting or distance or any of that. It's fact. We can agree on that. Because we're all connected. Whether we communicate physically or not. So align yourself with the outcomes that you want. Because nobody wants to be an old wrinkled lady. Not even old wrinkled ladies. Nobody wants to be sick. Nobody wants to be in a hateful place. Nobody wants to have grudges. Nobody. Nobody wakes up and says, oh, I'm going to go do horrible things. There's always something to learn. It's just the choices we make that distort how we see ourselves. And then we have to make better choices. Kind of like having your hair slicked back or having your hair down in your face and having to constantly swoop it out of your eyelids. It's two totally different vibrations, isn't it? One of them, your hair feels like it's barely even there. And the other one feels far more soft and aware of your face. In one version, you sit and miss someone. In another version, you're perfectly fine sitting next to them and you're bored. It's up to you how you want to translate what you're looking at. Because he could be sitting right next to you right now, and you're just showing him the video of something you recorded on the day you got an email returned when you wished him a Happy New Year. And now you're sitting there happy and in love and cuddling and laughing at the ridiculousness of the past. And being happy in your lives together, family. Everything's a-okay. If you guys are together, I'm happy for both of you. If not, I'm still happy for both of you. Right now, for me here, it sucks. But I know I'll get through it. Because I see you underneath the grief. And I see your future in the cards. Or a possible one. So, let yourself feel all of it. Every bit of it. Every good memory, every bad memory, every moment you missed that person, place, or thing. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself feel it. Take all that grief and pain and turn it into body features of beauty. Because the way you feel that grief and pain will never change. And it's beautiful the way you feel. So embrace it. Because once you see the beauty in how you feel things, even your anger, you'll realize how the earth shapes its terrain. Mountains are informed with whispers. Canyons are informed by walking on eggshells. They're made with rage and fury, an indomitable will, indestructibility, love, faith. A lightning bolt doesn't just strike for no reason. It connects with something beneath it and above it. And then it has a moment of alignment, like a bright idea. You're gonna be fine. You just have to see yourself for who you are. And I think once you get your health excuses adjusted, internally, they'll adjust externally, and you'll see yourself for who you really are, instead of who you think you are as a result of 3 years of crying. Nobody sees the grieving widow that you've seen. Nobody sees her. What they see is what you're seeing right now. Only you know the pain inside you. And you don't have to hide it by fake smiling or hiding it behind your eyes. It doesn't work. It's hollowed you out. Because you're meant to contain the light. So feel what you feel and put it where it needs to be. Sculpt yourself with what you feel. Amalthea was always in the unicorn. All the magic did was do as it wills. And what does the will do? It forces itself into alignment perpetually with what it wants. It wills what it wants into existence. It is will itself. So the princess and the unicorn, the king and the prince, they're the same. Molly Grew and Amalthea, the same. You and your parents, the same. You and him, the same. Just at different points in time. He'll be back if he isn't already. Make sure that you're you when he does come back. And learn to speak with your mouth properly. Because you have untapped potential that you aren't tapping into. Because you have to tap into a more passionate sexual energy, which you've blocked off for a while because of what happened. I'm glad you've been tapping back into it. Because you are worthy of being treated and loved and caressed for who you are, not who you were forced to be, for the people who didn't take responsibility for themselves. It's time to let yourself be the woman you know you are, or the man, whatever. Doesn't matter what they think of you. It matters what you think of you. "36 minutes. Oh goodness, that's dark. But it's so bright in here. I love you.